Hello and welcome back to Creative Control, the entertainment podcast. I'm your host, Kenan, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode. Joining me from the Creative Control team, we have Sacha, Neil, and Lee. How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing well,
Very
sir.
well, thank you.
All good.
Good. Well, thanks for being here. Just before we kind of move on to what we're talking about today, just want to have a big shout out to Chris and Neil. The last episode that we dropped, which was Warhammer 40k and Henry Cavill, it's done some great numbers. It's got almost 1,400 plays on YouTube. The Warhammer fans came out. They praised us. They educated us. And you know, they are a passionate crowd, and I'm all for that. So thank you for everybody who watched and listened to that podcast. We really appreciate you. And we got some new followers from it, so thank you very much. Yeah, round of applause, people. Okay, so what are we here today to talk about? So we are going retro again. You might be familiar with this series. We are doing our top 10 movies, and we started back off with 1980 because we feel that some of the movies back from the 80s and 90s don't get the love that they should. Because often top 10 lists just do it by the decade rather than per year. So we're here to set some records straight. So we started off with 80, and here this week we're here to talk about the top 10 movies of 1985. We've all got our individual lists, okay, but this is going to be a collective list. So basically the way this works is we all go around and put a draft pick into the top 10 list. As there's 4 of us today, we're each going to get 2, which is going to give us 8, and then we'll have 2 spots which we'll need to fight over. So people will be putting them forward. We'll probably have some voting going on, some discussions, but the ones that we lock in, there are choices. They cannot be moved. All right. So them to the rules. In terms of what movies we class as in 1985, so we've gone via the US domestic box office release date, because obviously films in the 80s and 90s, they had bigger release windows across continents. So that's where we're going off from. That's where we get the most information. So it has to be released between the 1st of January 1985 and the 31st of December 1985. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so but before we start with our list, again, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate you. And if you haven't already, please make sure you click that like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, where you can catch the video version of this podcast. You can also catch the video version of this on our Spotify page, where you can get the audio as well as every other major podcast platform. You can catch the audio there. Make sure you hit that like and follow and share. We really appreciate it. Okay, guys, here we go. Top 10 movies in 1985. I was surprised, actually, when I was going through these movies, it wasn't as obvious. I got kind of a solid 6 or 7 movies, and the others I wasn't too sure about. But as I started looking at the releases of these movies, I realized how many movies I either A, hadn't heard of, or B, just hadn't seen. And I was really quite surprised. And I'll point some of these out because I'm sure they're going to be mentioned. But for me, this was a particular year where I felt I'd watched probably the least amount of the top recommended movies. Did any of you guys have the same?
No, I did not.
No, okay, just me then. All right, especially when it came to like Oscar-nominated ones, you know. So,
I mean, Oscars, like,
for sure.
yeah. All about the blockbusters, but yeah, some of maybe the finer pieces of cinema maybe we didn't see. Okay, all right, let's go into it. So, you know what? Because of his background, I'm going to go for Lee for his first pick for this top 10 list. So, Lee, give us your number 1 pick.
Yeah, it's going to be the obvious one, Back to the Future.
Yeah, I cannot imagine a world where any of us don't have this on their list, right?
It's my number 1 as well.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lee, why Back to the Future? It seems pretty obvious, but why Back to the Future?
I mean, everything. Again, it's one of those films where everything about it just ticked every box. Very well casted. Obviously, Michael J. Fox just made it so cool. It was very much again, you could relate to him. Just remember the first time, obviously seeing it at the beginning when he's on the skateboard and he, starts grabbing onto cars and, putting himself along like that. And it was just, it was just cool with the big speaker at the beginning. And then it just sort of went on from there, really. Like, the car is just, the film's just cool. Everything.
It was just cool throughout.
The storyline, obviously, everyone thinks about, what their parents were like when they were younger. So he obviously gets to see all that. But the cast did a brilliant job as well. with all the makeup and getting the actors to look different ages, which made it more relatable because it just kept the continuity throughout the film. Brit to say, loved the story, loved Doc again, the eccentric Doc. Just kept, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's a timeless movie.
The soundtrack as well, awesome.
Oh yeah,
like Power of Love, excellent.
Back in Time.
Alan Silvestri, done a brilliant job with the score as well. So
iconic. Like you say, iconic theme tune, iconic movie, and it's look, it captured everybody's imagination. It just felt special when you're watching it, and like you said, back in the day, the car was just really cool. It wasn't just the doors. Obviously, it goes back in time as well. But just a look at the car, and when you talk about it now, people maybe don't quite get what we got back in the day. But it's just something about this movie, and probably one of the most important pieces of recasting in a movie ever. Putting Michael J. Fox in there when most of the movie had been completed, or at least half, I think they said. But it's.
I think it was just half.
Yeah, it's about half, right? And then Eric Stoltz was the one that was originally in it, and obviously we get nods to that in The Flash, which we had last year in alternate dimensions. But it's there's for me, there's nothing that I don't still enjoy about this movie. It still makes me smile, still makes me laugh, and obviously as the movie's gone on, people have picked out more plot holes now than what we did back then, like. Why do the parents not recognize their son? Looks like the guy they saw in high school and stuff like that. But to me, I put that down to time and memory loss, and I don't know. Well, there's factors at play there. So that was one thing. Obviously, they mentioned that. I think they did a Family Guy bit on that, where he was accusing her of sleeping with Calvin, and that's who their son was, and stuff like that. So it just happens to look like the guy you went to high school dance with. So there's that. But generally, for a time travel movie, it wraps up a lot of key points quite well, I think. So Neil, Sash, I think you guys want to say, and obviously the incest part. The attention to obviously the slight incest part with the son and mother thing is more uncomfortable. I think as you get older, you don't recognize it as much when you're younger, but as you get older, it's a little bit more creepy. And they make a lot of fun of that in the Back to the Future musical, which is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. But Neil, I'll come on to you first, and then we'll come to Sash. Yeah. And Neil, Back to the Future.
I was going to say, right, because I was hearing about people were picking out plot holes, but what you mentioned, that's not a plot hole. I was like, if you're 15 and 30 years later, you have a child, and that child somewhat resembles the person you basically saw for a week. So you saw this person for 1 week, you were 15 years old, and 30 years later, you have a kid that looks like that person.
Probably even less than a week, because we never saw it every day. He didn't hang out.
Wasn't the Dars within just a few days anyway? From when
because they say that Marty's there for a week, right? So he's like,
he's there. He's there for a week, but he's not hanging out with them for a week. Yeah, he's with Doc. You know what I mean? He's with Doc. He's doing other stuff. He's figuring out how to get back. So.
So I'm like, that's not really a pothole. The incest thing as well. If we really boil it and break it down, Marty doesn't he's not trying to do nothing. It's Lorraine who has Nightingale syndrome. She's infatuated with him, but the second she kisses him, she's like, this is
wrong.
So I she has an infatuation, and the second she goes far, she's like, this ain't right. So immediately I'm like, no, you can take it back. That's not the case. I think
it was very much on the cards.
When they talk about the story about them getting together, he's very influential on that. So for them not to remember what this kind of guy looks like, and just more than a passing resemblance to their son.
I mean, but I look at it like this, right? Okay, 90. If we look at it, right, we dead ass on it. Can all of you remember? Can any of you remember somebody who you met for 5 days when you were 15?
No.
in that situation.
Remember,
they were
and it hasn't been 30 years since any of us were 15. So if you really break it down,
I'd remember every girl I had a crush on this
as well, because it was a different time as well. Because here's the thing: you got Facebook and social media now. You know what motherfuckers look like now. Back then, you had nothing. You had Zip. You know what I mean? 2 days. I can't even remember people down the pub that I used to hang out with, like 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
I'm
like, come on, man. Like,
because I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I wouldn't remember all of my classmates. Right, I wouldn't remember
some
every
of my
single person I was in class
I really
with.
like a lot of people in Whitmore, so.
So I'm like,
I guess the only argument is that he was there when they first. Obviously, it was their first meeting. He sort of got them together, and then on the stage when he's playing Johnny Be Good. I mean, that is kind of like quite a memorable moment. That's when they had their first kiss. So.
And they thank him at the end. I mean, it's minor. It's not going to take it away from the top spot. It's minor. We can go into the details, but it's the only sticking point of when you consider it's a movie about time travel and how we can pick out holes in any time travel movie. Yeah, it's quite minor, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing that is a sticking point for me is the theory that Biff, S.A. Lorraine in the original timeline.
Yes.
And that, that's one of the reasons why the original timeline is not in a good place, is because Biff S.A.'s her. Whereas, that doesn't happen because...
Yeah, fair point. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the only sticking point for me.
Good family fun. Sacha, Back to the Future. Any other comments?
One of the best screenplays ever written.
Yes.
Everything wrapped up in a bow. It's a very good masterclass in how to write a screenplay, how to write characters. I mean, even the opening shot tells you so much in the first 30 seconds, from backstories to everything. Like, everything about the Doc before you meet him.
Yes,
in the movie. That shot opens. You got the ticking clocks. Showing like time travel. It then goes along to his contraption, making the dog food for Einstein. So he has a dog, and not only that, he's a scientist with some crazy contraption.
And we know about the burning down of the mansion.
And it sets up
the plutonium.
Plutonium, because there's a plutonium heist. And obviously, you find out that terrorists could have their mitts on that stuff. So it sets that up. It does so much in that opening shot that most movies wishes they do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's a masterclass.
Yeah, and now you feel like movies need to spell everything out for you. You have to have exposition dump after exposition dump.
Yeah,
like you say, Sash, classic example of just telling a story just through images and a little bit of sound work.
Also, I want to know, how old were you, or how many times had any of you seen this movie when you realized that Twin Pines Mall becomes Lone Pines Mall?
Yeah. After he crashes into the tree.
I'll be blunt. I've been watching this movie since VHS days. Didn't know till I owned it on Blu-ray.
Right. Probably early 20s, I think. Yeah. Like I said, obviously we've been watching this since probably I was like 10, 11 years old. But yeah, it wasn't into the 20s that so it's finer details.
Since they started memeing it on fucking Facebook. I'll be honest with you. And I've seen the movie over about 100 times.
It's so subtle but so clever. But look, we could wax lyrical about this movie all day, but Back to the Future, it's number one for everyone. And we had a few people messaging our WhatsApp group for Creative Control. So Jessen, it was at the top of his list. And Rita, it was at the top of her list, but it was only second place in Greg's list. Greg for Back to the Future. Sorry, Sash, not my number one. No explanation needed. And we'll go on to what his number one is, but Greg is number two.
Did you see the documentary from Michael J. Fox, Still?
I haven't yet. It's on my to-watch list on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, he obviously talks about filming Back to the Future and how he was literally chauffeured between sets.
Yeah, because he was doing family ties?
Crazy.
Back to the Future at night.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't release him from his contract.
I think, to be fair, that could have actually helped with his performance.
Yeah, that erraticness. Yeah,
because how fast paced and everything, because that is how he is in the film. So I think that might well have helped him.
Yeah, that to me, obviously we work in time, and we live in a times where people really take into account health and well-being of people. But I'm just like, this guy worked for what was it, a month? It was just under a month. It was something like 20 some odd days that he literally did a job in the day, slept on his way to his night job, then did his night job, then slept on his way back to the day job, right? I'm like, you got certain people who can't fulfill one full day, let alone pulling back-to-back duties.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's go on to our first pick for. Let's go to Neil. Neil, what is going to be your first pick for the top 10?
Oh, okay. See, now I ain't gonna lie. I'm pulling some schemes on you boys, because I'm like, I'm just hoping that you boys don't let me down and you throw the names in that I need you to throw in.
Okay.
So that gives me free reign to throw in other names. So my first pick, just off of that, is going to be, because I'm pretty sure this might not pop up in any of you. I'm gonna throw in Fright Night.
Right. I can guarantee you that wasn't on my list.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so Neil, Fright Night, what is it?
Fright Night is it's an 80s horror comedy, which is like, you don't get horror comedies better than the 1980s, because they just knew what they were doing, or didn't know what they were doing. But it's, it is perfectly positioned where you've got a teenage boy who's obsessed with a TV show where this guy hunts vampires, and the guy's kind of styled himself like a Peter Cushing, Van Helsing type, so the Hammer horror Van Helsing type guy, and the guy is so obsessed with it that he genuinely believes that his next door neighbor is a vampire. And it's like, there are certain signs towards this. You never see the guy in the daytime. He's always got the hottest women coming into his house at night, and then you never see him again. They come into the house and then you never see him again. And he's the weird kid in school, and he has the weird friend. Essentially the best way I can describe this for those who've never seen it or heard of it but live now is, think of Mike from Stranger Things, and then imagine that Mike. So think of Mike, and then imagine if Eddie from Stranger Things was Mike's best friend, and they were the same age.
Right. Okay.
That right there is your two leads, right? Evil Eddie and the main character whose name escapes me at the minute. And it's the realization is, once he finds out that his neighbor is indeed a vampire, and to point it out, this is back in the days when they were like, yeah, vampires were sexy. So I think the guy's name is Chris Sanderson, who also is the voice of Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was like the ladies' man. When they remade this film in the 2000s and they cast Colin Farrell, they did the right move, because it was like, this is the ladies' man.
Okay.
And when the lead character finds out, yeah, he is a vampire, he's like, well, I gotta kill him then, innit? Right? which is the way to go about it. He's not, we need to leave. He's like, nah, I need to kill this guy. And I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. That's 80s. We found vampires. We just like, yeah, you got to die.
They gotta go. They got to go. Okay, well, that's a new one for me. When I've seen the poster, I recognize the poster from
That's
around.
The thing. The poster
yeah,
is
never seen the movie.
The poster is iconic, but the funny thing is, it's one of those 80s posters where it's like it's really iconic, but it doesn't tell you.
Doesn't tell you anything. No,
the film.
No. I can probably tell there's vampires from that, but that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. So yeah, okay, all right. So Friday Night makes the top 10. Sacha, we're gonna go to you for your number one pick. What have you got, bro?
Well, it's already been said. It was Back to the Future. So I'm going to give you guys my number two pick, which none of you guys would do.
I'm sure I have it.
Jackie Chan's Police Story.
I already had that down because I knew you were going to pick it.
Jackie Chan's Police Story. What can I say, man? One of quintessential Jackie Chan films to watch ever. More so than Wheels on Meals, that I said last podcast. Okay, Wheels on Meals was my personal introduction to Jackie Chan, and it have a personal place in my heart for introducing me to the world of Jackie Chan. This is the gateway film. All right, this is real Jackie right here. Okay, he plays a cop, Chan Kukai, in the Hong Kong version, but obviously for the UK and US dub, he's just simply known as Jackie. Okay, his girlfriend, played by Maggie Chun, who's been in a lot of his films. She plays his love interest, May, girlfriend May, and she's May across all the languages. Okay, so but really fantastic stunts. You see man chase number 340 running after that bus with an umbrella. That's a scene to behold. The people got severely injured on this production. Jackie does a life-death defying stunt in a shopping mall where he jumps off the top of the mall down some lights.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Insane stunts, insane fighting. He directed this as well. This was like his third film as a director, and so he films it. He directs it. He stars in it. He sings in it. He sings the theme song. Yeah, Jackie Chan he's a pop star in Hong Kong, like a legit pop star in Hong Kong.
Yeah, he sung the version, the male version of the film in China for Pocahontas.
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. Yeah.
No,
for you. Yeah. But
you can search on YouTube and you can see that there's a music video of him singing it.
So what a lot of people don't know about Jackie Chan, like he went to like this opera school, and it's not like for tenors to sing. It was like they taught you martial arts, they taught you acting, they taught you how to sing, they taught you all of this stuff, and you had to pass everything. Him, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Biao from Wheels on Meals, they all did that kind of thing. So Jackie can sing, okay? Like, I don't know what he's saying, but he's singing, okay? He's singing the theme tune, and I'm not going to mess with people in Hong Kong if they say he's good. So, you know what I mean? I mean, in Armor of God, he plays an ex-member of a rock star band who's now a treasure hunter. So, you know, and he's singing in that. So he sings in his Hong Kong films like a lot. So he sings the song. He's a fight choreographer. He's everything in this thing, man.
He sings a theme tune. He writes the theme tune.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez ain't got shit. I'm being serious as well. Before anyone says, "Oh no," okay, can he fight in his? And no, Jackie did it first. I'm just saying. Okay, there probably are more people that did it first, but this is quintessential Jackie Chan right here.
All right.
Police Story.
All right.
Has numerous sequels, but the first three, like most things, are the best. So yeah, check it.
Neil, Lee, have either of you seen Police Story?
Nope.
I think I have a long time ago.
Where were you? Where were you guys?
I've seen Jackie Chan film.
Jackie Chan night.
Well, that's the thing.
Sacha, I met you too late in life. I met you too late.
I've seen Jackie Chan films during the mid to late 90s. I watched a lot of films on either Channel 4 or on Bravo, usually like on a Sunday night, dead ass, like 1:00 in the morning when they put on films, and I was just like, I don't know what the title is. I missed it, but it's got somebody whooping ass, and it was usually Jackie Chan. So I saw a lot of films. I don't know. If I sat there and watched it, then I'd be like, oh wait, I've seen this one.
Right. Okay. Got
But
you. Yeah.
I can't guarantee I've seen it. So until I can guarantee, the answer is no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But
no, because I met Sacha, I was like 15, 16, or 16 probably. Sacha was been 16, 17. Sacha, you kind of got this into like when you were maybe like 12, right?
No, funnily enough, I was late into Jackie Chan. Okay. So Channel 4 did the Jackie Chan season where a lot of people my age, or a lot of people in the UK in general, watch Jackie Chan films on the TV and stuff. But two of my good friends, comedian Imran Yusuf, shout out there, and our friend Delan, who edits a lot of my short films and stuff. You know, they grew up with Jackie Chan by renting them from the video shop kind of thing, you know, growing up. And they grew up on Jackie Chan since the age of like 12 or maybe even younger than that. I got introduced to Jackie Chan through those guys, probably aged 14. Yeah. I want to say 14. Yeah, it's definitely 14. Age 14. And around that time, they started showing Jackie Chan on late night on Channel 4, and then it'll be like, oh, did you see that Jackie Chan film? And like just start talking it, and you had to be in the club to know what the fuck we were on about. And then Rush Hour came out, and then everyone thought they knew him, and it's like, no, you don't know shit.
This is tame Jackie. This is tame. This is Hollywood Jackie.
Yeah. You queue up for Rumble in the Bronx 2 years prior down at Chocadero. So yeah,
can I ask a question?
I've got just as a shout out to that, Sash. I've got the UK Christmas TV guide from 1991 here on Channel 4.
Yeah,
and literally on Christmas Eve, technically Christmas Day at 12:35 a.m. Film Wheels on Mills, 1984, Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
Christmas Eve film.
Yeah, Sash, can I ask you, right? Because this will let me know whether I've seen it or not. Is there a scene in this movie where Jackie Chan's fighting on a double-decker bus and he falls out the back of the bus from the top window? And then I've seen Police Story.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one.
All right. On Christmas Day, they had Jackie Chan at 12:15 a.m. Police Story. So they're running it all the time. Absolutely. They definitely
always late night Channel 4, man. Jackie would be on.
They run it. They on Christmas Eve. They was like, no. Santa Claus gonna need to watch this one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So I'm gonna go for my pick. I'm pretty sure this will be on most of your guys' lists. There's a couple of others I'm a little unsure that I'm like, oh, I want to get it on. But maybe I should. Because I think this will be on there anyway. But no, I'm going to play a little bit safe because Neil throws some wacky ones out there and I can't trust Neil anymore. So it's got to be Rocky 4. Okay.
Fair enough.
Rocky 4 for me has to make this list. It alternates sometimes as one of my favorite Rocky movies. And I think because it was the age I saw it, the time I saw it. It was just so like American propaganda. Do you know what I mean? It was just like the red, white, and blue. And it was very much about America versus Russia as opposed to just being Rocky. And the soundtrack, like Hearts on Fire, that it's just some next level stuff. The training montage of him in the mountains against the the science of the Russians, and it just there's something about that movie, Christmas movie. Absolutely, it is. So Rocky 4 has to make my list. So did you guys all have that?
I did.
Yep.
Cool. What numbers did you guys have it on your list? Because I had mine. I had Rocky 4 at number 3.
I think like 7,
6,
4.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I went for it now because I couldn't trust you guys. It's too down. It's too low on your list.
I do love Rocky 4. I do love Rocky 4, and it's a good film. Some people on this podcast that aren't here would label it as perfection, but I don't know, man. Which one's my favorite Rocky movie? that's for another podcast. I'm going to leave you motherfuckers hanging because I think we need to.
Well, maybe we'll rank them. We'll do ranking the movies. So, Greg had it at number 3. Yeah, possibly my favorite Rocky film. So no brainer, it's this high. Jason didn't have it on his list, and Amrita didn't have it on her list either. So
now you know what? It's lower down. It's lower down, Rocky. You know why? Because they killed Apollo. That's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. Unforgivable. Rocky 3. Okay, it's quite. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, like Rocky 3 isn't as well made as the first 2, but vindication. You know what I mean? Like fucking the comeback round at the end, and also more importantly, man trains with Carl Weathers. You know what I mean? That
rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
That start of that friendship, that is ultimate bros. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just so good. Yeah. But I know.
Have you guys all seen the director's cut of Rocky 4?
Yes.
Yeah. It was okay. I just feel that with Rocky 4, it's so cemented in the version that we've had for years, and a lot like. Although I liked the new scenes, I felt they took away some moments. Like here's the thing: I'm actually pro the robot. I'm sorry, it was a thing of its time. He's rich. We saw Rocky 2. He's spending shit on crazy shit. Rocky owning that fucking robot as a birthday present to Paulie, that would totally 1000% happen. It's in his character.
Absolutely, and it lends more into the fact that he has no money by the time number 5 comes around.
Totally. Because he bought a damn robot. You know what I mean? Like I know Sly's like, no, I had the stupid robot. It's like, no, it's not stupid, man. It's a product of its time, man. If it had, look, I would watch a fucking 3-4 hour cut of that film. You know, if it gave the emotional depth, you know what I mean? Because then we got the emotional core mixed with the. I don't know, man. Someone do a fan cut. Someone put all the good shit. Just give us all the good shit.
There probably is some out there on YouTube, to be honest. But I quite enjoyed the director's cut. I thought it did tighten up a few aspects, and it was pretty decent. But yeah,
I think it took away. It took too much away. Maybe obviously,
I do think it added a lot though. Like the conversation with Adrian about why he's going to rush on the stairs. That was a lot more. The other thing I liked about it was it gave Adrian
more time with Apollo as well, and like why he was doing
Apollo, more time with her, and more importantly, more time with Tony Duke. More time with Duke, and most importantly, one of the best parts about the director's cut of Rocky 4 is the funeral scene. Okay, Rocky speaks, but he doesn't hog the stage. The person that commands presence is the guy that should be speaking, and that's Duke. Duke is giving the eulogy, and it's like it makes sense. That's his character, and that guy doesn't get enough praise for his work in the whole series because he's consistent throughout, and he, you know what I mean? Like it's a shame he died before the Creed series, if that makes sense. Because I think the Creed series really would have benefited of having him still around, and then that way you could have had it would have been more noticeable for. Little Duke, his son, you know what I mean? Which I say is very good casting because that guy kind of looks like him, you know what I mean? But when I watch it with people that aren't necessarily into Rocky, they got to watch it about 3-4 times before they realize, like, oh shit, they're related, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. But anyway, we got to move on from Rocky 4.
It's a really good shout. Well put, Sash. Right, let's go around the houses. So we are back to the number 2 picks. Lee, what have you got?
Right, it's getting tough now. I think I saved Satch last time, so there is a film here that I'm hoping gets on the list, but I'm not going to say it this time. So you guys better do it. So I'm going to chuck in my little teen favorite again, Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf.
Yes! I love you, Lee.
Okay. So Lee, why Teen Wolf?
Again, it's just a film I grew up with. Again, could relate to it back in school or you know.
Yep.
The high school drama. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a film that, I just loved it. I mean, it wasn't quite. It was kind of like superpowers, I guess. You know, turning into a wolf, got super strength, and and it's becoming the popular kid, isn't it? Because he was a nerdy kid, and then he becomes Mr. Popular. And it's just when you're a young kid, you want to be the popular one, don't you? Even though you might be the nerdy one. So it's like where nowadays it's the popular ones want to be the nerdy ones. So it's like. But yeah, no, I loved it. It was just a bit of fun. I mean, I know he sort of commented that it wasn't his best work and how he regretted doing it, but no, he didn't. I think he's done a good job. I like the dad as well. The dad's really funny. No, it's just a bit. It's just fun. It was just fun. I loved it.
All right, cool. Neil, you seem to be happy, so.
Look, I had some movies on my list, and I was like, I've only got 2. I can only pick 2, and I was like, obviously, I knew I threw the world into a ruckus when I said Friday Night, and Teen Wolf. I think I'm looking at it now because it says 1 to 10, but that doesn't mean that's not inflection of saying the film that says number 2 is my second pick. It's just written the second. But Teen Wolf is written as number 2 because I'm like, this movie. I think so. I've never seen the remake TV show, and I know it ran for like a bunch of seasons, and then they did a Teen Wolf movie on it, right? And I'm sure that there's tons of people who love it. I don't care. It ain't Michael J. Fox dancing on top of a van with shades. It's not got the heart. It doesn't have the heart that it's got. An 80s teen movie needs heart, and Teen Wolf just has it. As I said, it's like an analogy for puberty.
It's a proper coming of age movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And he becomes a werewolf, and it's like, oh, and then the little subtleties, like that he's not the first werewolf, that there's the hint that maybe I think it's the principal or I think it's the principal who's like, he killed his mum with a shotgun. So it's like this town has a secret because werewolves exist in it. And him becoming the werewolf, and then he's the star of the basketball team, and then it's like the 80s cheese where like when he decides to always be the werewolf at school, and it's like he gets an A on his test and the teacher pats his head like he's a good dog. Good boy, and I'm like, to this day I want that friggin' jacket.
Yeah.
He has, and it's when he goes to prom in that white suit and he does the dance, and it's just, the movie was just like,
the dance was well cheesy. Really
good, wholesome, solid, whole milk, good old fashioned 80s cheese. I
think the progression as well.
It goes on a pizza.
As he starts. Go on, Neil. Sorry, mate.
No, I'm saying it's the 80s cheese. It goes in a sandwich. It goes on a pizza. It goes anywhere you need it to go. It's just.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the progression as well. As he's sort of transitioning, it's like when he's locked in the cupboard with Boo, and then he comes out of the cupboard. He's got the claw marks down the back, and then when he's in the shop and the boy's blowing the dog whistle, what's the other bit as well? Oh yeah, when he goes to get a bigger beer, and his eyes light up, and it's like he gets the real deep voice. It's just it's just fun, great fun.
Yeah, it balanced sort of like heart and humor really, really well in that movie. And isn't it Teen Wolf that's got the really weird scene at the end where isn't it got the really weird scene at the end where it's got the kid who's got his like dick out or something in his trousers when you pan out of the audience scene? I think it's that one, isn't it?
It's the guy in the basketball in the stands.
The stands, the extra. Okay, Sash, Teen Wolf.
I thought it sucked. No, for real. Right. I was never into Teen Wolf. I rented it. I remember renting it from Pan Center Video. Going, that's the guy from Back to the Future. I saw this one like advertised and stuff because when Back to the Future 3 came out, Teen Wolf was there because they're trying to show Michael J. Fox's back catalog and stuff. And I rented Teen Wolf 1. I was like, nah. And then, the next week I was like, well, I've seen the first one. There's a second one. Why not?
Yeah,
and I don't even remember that movie, but the first thing I saw was like, that guy ain't Teen Wolf. What the hell's going on? And I don't even remember the movies because I've only seen them once back in the 80s, and I just didn't take to them. It's just me. Sorry, guys.
Fair dues.
No, we can't like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, so yeah, no, Teen Wolf was on my list. It was at number 9 on my list. So yeah, I had that. Okay, we're going over to Neil now, aren't we? So Neil, what is your second pick?
Right. Well, you said you couldn't trust me, as I can't trust you guys to throw these in. I'm torn. I'm torn between two movies. One of them, I mean, both of them are literally top tier 80s movies. In fact, if I had to rank them, they would be my number 1 and they'd be my number 2 and number 3 all-time top 85 movies. Okay. But I have to pick one. So see, there's a chance that one of you might pick one of them, but I can't take the risk. So, as much as it pains me, I'm going to have to say The Goonies.
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you for taking
There's relief. There's relief around the...
that was my number. That was my number 3. That was my number 3. My cousin would argue with me. She is in the Greg Marshall camp, okay, where she that is her favorite film of all time. And so much so that, she's got like loads of merch and stuff, and she's been to the beach where they filmed. She's actually been there and stuff, and outside the house and stuff, and man, that's like her favorite film. So when Greg put that thing, like pointed at me, I don't know why he did, like singled me out, maybe because I hate everything and we have different opinions and stuff. That's probably it. But like, Greg, that's a good shout, and I'm not gonna say anything because like, if you replace like Back to the Future, you best back it up with something good. And Goonies is 1000% something good
in the argument. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, I used to watch that movie on repeat so much, because we were the right age, we were kids, the same age as those kids, and literally we wanted to be those kids and go on an adventure, find pirates, hide in caves, that kind of thing. It was a great kids adventure movie, and it was fantastic. And the other thing I might add with the Goonies was that oh shit, what was I going to say? Fuck. There was the Goonies 2 game on the NES, and I was like, when's that movie coming out? And it never came out. It's like, and I was always looking for the Goonies 1 game on the NES, but they never did a Goonies 1 game. So that's really confusing, Nintendo. What's going on?
No, it's a fantastic movie. It was number 2 on my list. It had to be there. Neil, I remember us talking about a podcast on this a little while ago where you said you weren't aware of the opening of the Goonies until you saw it on DVD or something like that.
Yeah. All right.
I think we both had that, didn't we?
Now, the first time I ever saw the Goonies, it was on VHS. And this movie, I'm pretty sure it had to be on BBC One because there's no like pause for adverts during this.
No advert breaks, And when he says his VHS BBC One, this is because it's been recorded off TV onto VHS from BBC One.
Right. I'm telling you right now, if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you knew about that recording on VHS. I know that there are going to be some companies who frowned upon this. You can all publicly kiss my backside because my education in film came from these VHS tapes. But because of this, and because of the British Board of Film Classification, there were a number of things that were taken out of movies when it was time to watch them. When it was time to watch them on home on TV. Yes, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, was Yippee-ki-yay Kimosabi.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna get into that. But regarding the Goonies, the opening of the film, when you see the Fratellis break out a member of the family from jail, the start of the film is you see him in jail hanging. He's killed himself. Then the police officer comes to inspect him. He hasn't killed himself. It's a ploy. It's a trick. He beats the guard. He escapes jail. When he steps out the police station, there's his brothers pouring gasoline around the perimeter of the station. As soon as he gets out, they light the match. Boom, big fire. The police officers come out. They can't chase the Fratellis down. When I watched that film, the first time I watched it, I ain't seen none of that. All I saw was my man. I saw the bit where it says the Goonies, and then there's the skull, and then it goes in, and then it just cuts to like this Fratelli leaving jail, getting into the car, boom, match, woof, big flames, right? And I was just comfortable with that. And I was like, okay, he's a bad guy. He's escaped jail. End of story. I didn't think nothing of it. I then owned this film on DVD. Some 20 years later.
Yeah.
And watching this film, and I see this whole like fake killing yourself, escaping jail, getting into the car. And I was like, where was all of this? I was like, am I watching the right movie?
Yeah, definitely. Edit for TV was such a thing back in the day. And I know it was like in the States on cable, and they had cable and non-cable and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got the more mature versions. But yeah, so yeah, definitely as we got older, we saw different versions of these films. If you look back at it now, and the strength of that cast is quite incredible. Right?
You got Josh Brolin,
Sean Austin,
not Sam Austin, Corey Feldman, Quan, I can't pronounce his name, but short round, yeah. You know, directed by Richard Donner, written by Chris Columbus. Yeah, you had the dream team on there, because you had directed by Chris Columbus, and for those who don't know, Chris Columbus
written by Chris Columbus,
written by Chris Columbus. Sorry, he directed the very first Harry Potter movie.
First two.
He also directed the very first Percy Jackson movie, and then Percy Jackson's having a bit of a resurgence this year. You know, he wasn't the guy.
Directed Home Alone.
Home Alone, yeah. He wasn't champion of. So if John Hughes is champion of teenage movies, Chris Columbus is champion of kids movies.
You know, because you brought up Chris Columbus, I want to segue to one of Neil's favorite things in the whole wide world. His dream project was to personally film a Fantastic Four film.
That's true. That
was his dream, and he could only produce one because Fox wouldn't let him direct. Yeah,
sad. What could have been? Right. Well, look, lots of love for the Goonies here. Look, we'll move on because I've realized we've been chatting for a long time.
Before we move on, I have a question, right? We've all seen the Goonies. You've all seen the Goonies, right? You've all seen it more than once.
Yeah.
Have any of you seen the version with the octopus in it?
No, but I've heard about it.
I've seen it on YouTube, the scene, not in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Just checking.
Crazy. Okay, Sacha, what's your next pick?
I don't think this is going to be on the list, but this is actually my number 4 because Goonies was my number 3. Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. Okay, I would go. Seriously, this is a film I would fucking kill people over. This film. Wow. Oh my gosh! You know what? Yeah, like Richard Pryor was a big Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy was a big staple in this household, especially comedy movies. Comedy movies were a dime a dozen. Okay, so when I saw this film was lit, and so lit that I'm really shocked no one's taken this concept and remade it. You know what I mean? Like legitimately remade it.
It has been remade.
Has it?
like it's been remade, just not a American remake.
Right. Yeah. So like,
wasn't the Adam Sandler movie kind of a little bit of a remake of this?
What, Mr. Deeds?
Mr. Deeds.
I never saw Mr. Deeds.
No, I don't think
yes,
so.
that's similar. I think where he had. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Mr. Deeds if he has to spend all the money. I can't remember because the thing about this one was like he was given money and he had to spend it.
Yeah.
And be left with nothing in order to inherit the main inheritance.
Yeah, so he's given 30 million to spend in 30 days.
Mm.
You're talking about Mr. Deeds now?
No, I'm talking about,
no,
this one. Okay, yeah. So this one basically
wasn't like that.
Okay.
So yeah, this one basic premise. He has a great granddad that he didn't even know, and he turns out to be a millionaire. But the only way he can inherit the millions is to spend, what was it, 30 million or something like that in 30 days?
30 million.
30 million in 30 days. If he does that, he inherits, I don't know, like $1 billion or ridiculous, or 100 million or
300 million.
Like that. Something like that.
Million.
300 million. There we go.
Yeah.
300 million he inherits. So has a spend 30 million in 30 days, and he's not allowed to tell anyone about it or whatnot. So all his close friends think he's going mad and insane because he's just like going nuts with money, just spending it and going nuts and hiring people on the spot and giving them ridiculous salaries. It's a fantastic movie. It's hilarious. It's one I definitely, you know what, I haven't seen it in a while, but I definitely do revisit it from time to time. It's definitely a movie that I would watch with my dads growing up, because it was like, this was like dad's movie, but it was like, you know, it was our movie, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So like I really love Bruce's Millions. It's one of my favorites. It would definitely make a top 25 list of full time for me personally. I fucking love this film.
Right.
Good shout out. And John Candy has a strong role in this as well.
Oh yeah. John Candy is his best mate. Yeah, fantastic. But this is a Pryor film without Gene Wilder. This is all Pryor, in my opinion, and he just shines in this. And you know what? Sure, you could have got Eddie Murphy to do it, and you would have been just as good. But no, there's just something about Richard Pryor in this where he's just, unbeatable. But I would, you know what? I usually loathe remakes, but I like the concept of this.
Yes.
And I would love to see this remade in modern day, but I wouldn't want to sugarcoat it. It would have to be a raw kind of version kind of thing, because I don't like the way comedies are these days. I want it to be gut bustingly hilarious kind of thing. But yeah, Bruce's Millions.
All right. Cool. Yeah, that was number 5 on my list.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was well up there because again, it's a movie that I've watched so many times and it just and the comedy hits you no matter what the age. So some things you obviously laugh as a kid, but when you're an adult, you catch on to some other things. And it just, for me, it's just pure example of brilliant comedy writing from that time. You know, so it's not about the slapstick, but so it was really well written. But is a lot of it was in the delivery, and there's a lot of heart in this movie. A lot of heart. So yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to go for. I'm really glad you picked that. Now I am torn between 2 movies here, and I think I could probably fight one more when we have our final 2 spots to get this in there. But this other one, I'm not too sure will make it if I left it up to chance. So for me, this was a movie again, like Sacha with Bruce Million. This was something that I watched with the family. It was just great comedy and drama at the time. It was just really, really sweet, had a real great sweetness to it, and it's Cocoon.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that movie for me.
Yeah, that wasn't even on my list. I forgot.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about Cocoon.
Yeah, it's and again, you know, look, a lot of these influences with these movies is because we watch them on TV so often, because certain movies were, you know, rewatched so many times. But if you're not familiar with Cocoon, it's directed by Ron Howard, who has gone on to do brilliant stuff like Beautiful Mind and all that kind of stuff.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, exactly. Apollo 13 and Star Wars. Which one did he do? He did Solo, didn't he? Yeah. So, but yes, a sci-fi drama is basically about a group of senior citizens who discover regenerating powers, basically from alien life forms in their community swimming pool in their retirement home. So the elderly characters embark on this journey of renewed vitality, and they're grappling with challenges and joys that come with the newfound youth. And it's got humor, it's got sentiment, and it's kind of that exploration of the human experience, because you've got these older people kind of trying to recapture their youth and what that means to them and kind of stuff like that. Really strong cast. Guttenberg's in it, who was obviously riding high from Police Academy. And one of the actors did secure, I'm sure, a Best Supporting Oscar. The Oscar nomination for this was actor in a supporting role, which is Don Amici. And he won it as well. So Cocoon is actually an Oscar-winning film. So there we go. The more you know. Did anyone else have this on their list?
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee,
number
okay.
8.
Number 8 on your list. All right, solid. Sweet. Okay, good. I had to make sure that was on there. My other picks, I'm sure we'll find it out. Right. So we have I've missed off Neil's second movie here.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Cocoon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, never seen it.
Neil, what was your second pick?
The Goonies.
What? The Goonies. Yeah. Sorry, I just didn't write it down. Okay, cool. Okay, so in our top 8, we have Sacha here with Police Story and Brewster's Millions. Neil's got Fright Night and The Goonies. Lee had Back to the Future and Teen Wolf. And then I've got Rocky IV and Cocoon. So we've got 2 spots up for grabs. Okay. So what I'd like for us each to do now is just go through our top 10 lists so we can hear the other movies mentioned. We'll go through the ones on the chat. We can even talk about our honorable mentions, and then we'll fight for what we think needs to take those final 2 spots. It will come down to votes at the end of the day.
All right.
Lee, give us your top 10.
All right. Number 1, Back to the Future. 2, The Goonies. 3, Teen Wolf. 4, Rocky IV. 5, View to a Kill. 6, Commando.
Yes.
7, Santa Claus the Movie. 8, Cocoon. 9, The Jewel of the Nile.
Yes.
And 10, Brewster's Millions.
Nice. Solid list. Solid list.
Strong list.
There's a strong list. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Neil, what was your list?
So my list, I had we had Rocky IV, Teen Wolf, Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, Back to the Future, Commando, The Goonies, Fright Night, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and The Color Purple.
Yeah, The Color Purple. It's I only actually watched that for the first time about 2 weeks ago.
I forgot about Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah. Okay, so Sacha, what was your top 10?
You know what? I had to just amend it because I didn't realize Commando was the same year.
Yeah, right.
So someone got booted to honorable mentions. I was like, nah, man, this needs to. I was like, I like this film. Is it my top? Is it better than Commando? No. And now I have to rethink my list a little bit. But you know what? No. You know what? You know what? I like Commando. So I'm kind of happy with where it is.
Okay. All right.
Because the other films, are more personal to me. Yeah. Commando was something I saw a little bit later in life, if that makes sense. And so, and I enjoy it. I love it. But and it's definitely a top 10, but not like the top 5.
All right.
But anyway, top 10 without further ado. Back to the Future, Jackie Chan's Police Story, The Goonies, Brewster's Millions, The Breakfast Club, Rocky IV, Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
I knew that was on your list.
Had to. I was kind of hoping one of you guys would pull that out, but like no one did. No one did. And that was tough because I was like, which one do I like better, Rocky 4 or Rambo 2? And I was like, you know what? It's Rocky. It is Rocky. Like I like and what made the decision was Rambo 2's good and I love it. But it's not Rambo 1. It's not First Blood, you know. So yeah, after that we got View to a Kill, Roger Moore's last item as Bond, which a lot of people, you know what? A lot of people shit on that movie. Like older people shit on that movie. They're like, it's the worst Bond. He's like 60 at this point. He's like, he probably was about 60. I don't know, but and he's banging like these young girls and stuff. But you know what? That was like one of the first Bond films I ever saw, and I dug it, man. I really dug it, and it's got Christopher Walken as a bad guy, and fucking can't go wrong with
Grace Jones and shit.
Yeah, Grace Jones and shit, and you have fucking the guy from the Avengers, not Hulk and shit, but like you know the TV show Avengers where they're spies.
John Steed.
Yeah, he's John Steed's in this film because he's the valet, the agent that's a valet helping him and in a bit of a comedic kind of role. Yeah, that film was all kinds of foursome. And like you got Max Zorin played by Walken. Walken is Christopher Walken, man. Come on. In a Bond movie. You can't get better than that. And then Commando, of course. How could I not have Commando on this list, man? It only gets number 9 because I've probably seen it the least, but it is everything I want out of an action movie. You know what I mean? Cheesy one-liners. You know what? That film only works because it's Arnold. You replace Arnold from this movie. This movie's a dog shit movie because it shouldn't work. You know what I mean? It's like one of those films that is so bad it's great, and Arnold just heightens every moment of this film, man, because he's just fantastically charismatic in it, and just jokes.
Duke as well was in it.
Yes. And then the last one on the list, Ridley Scott's Legend with Tom Cruise.
Right. Yes.
I fucking love that movie. All right. I fucking love that movie. If you want to see Tom Cruise as Peter Parker, it's this film. If you want to see Tom Cruise as Link from Legend of Zelda, it's this fucking movie, yo. It's like literally like his most underrated film, in my opinion. And considering the scope of fantasy films back in the 80s, yeah, we had Conan and stuff. We had slim pickings compared to what we have nowadays, man. And this was top tier fantasy, in my opinion. I fucking love it. Tim Curry with his devil horns and shit. So my honorable mentions. We'll start with what got demoted, got kicked off of number 10. All right, because it was number 10, and Legend was at number 9. Police Academy 2.
Right, yeah.
The first assignment.
Because I'm a sucker for comedy, and like the Police Academy films were watched aplenty in my house. Okay, we need to do a creative control on Police Academy really badly.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. And then we'll do a remake and recasting. So
man.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. No, we'll definitely do
Police Academy 2, then The Last Dragon, man.
Yep, that's on my honorables.
Yep. Dan Aykroyd, Spies Like Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Jewel of the Nile.
Yep, that made it. That was
Man with One Red Shoe with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Never seen that. Oh man, you're in for a treat. Okay, I'll send you a trailer. Return to Oz.
Yes.
So again, fantasy Wizard of Oz sequels made by the folks that made by the writer of the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and Raiders, Lawrence Kasdan, I do believe. Akira Kurosawa's Ran, his last movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic epic. Witness with Harrison Ford. Weird Science. The Black Cauldron, because I'm a sucker for old school Disney hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sam Raimi's Crime Wave. Okay. The second movie after Evil Dead. Fantastic. Film that I haven't seen ever, but I have to put as an honorable mention because my friend Dave's like, please mention this film, and no one mentioned it. Dave, this is for you. Real Genius with Val Kilmer, which is a comedy.
Right, okay.
It's like it's the same vein as Top Secret and stuff. I think it's Val Kilmer. Someone looked it up. Someone fact check me.
What's it called?
Real Genius.
No, it's called Real Genius.
Is it Val Kilmer?
Yes.
Okay, I do believe it's slapstick comedy. So
yeah,
I've never
Val
seen
Kilmer,
it. Yeah. And the other honorable mention is Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. But I personally, just like Teen Wolf, this deserves to be in the bin. I love the previous two Mad Max. I love the fuck out of Fury Road. I don't know what the fuck this is, but cool. I might need to rewatch it, and maybe I might appreciate it a little bit more because they make shit movies these days, and bad 80s movies are significantly better than 2020 whatever year we're in. I keep forgetting because of COVID.
All right, so I'll go through the other guys' list. So before I go on to mine, so Amrita had Back to the Future, The Goonies, The Breakfast Club, Witness. That's with Harrison Ford. The Color Purple, Out of Africa, Big of the Oscars, Santa Claus the Movie, Weird Science, Teen Wolf, and Police Academy 2, Their First Assignment. Jessen, he had Back to the Future, The Goonies, Teen Wolf, Brewster's Millions, A View to a Kill, Jewel of the Nile, Santa Claus, Young Sherlock Holmes, Return to Oz, and Police Academy 2. And then Greg, he had in reverse order Mad Max Thunderdome. Not the best Mad Max, but still memorable with epic Tina Turner tune. The Breakfast Club, best 1985 John Hughes movie, beating St. Elmo's Fire. Great cast. Return to Oz, again, not better than the original, but great visuals, and the wheelies and the Mumbies heads make it the best horror of the year. Yes, I said it, horror. 7, Teen Wolf, not even the best Michael J. Fox of the year, but classic. 6, A Chorus Line, a simple stage musical with cracking tunes and good performances from Michael Douglas. 5, Brewster's Millions, love this film, part wish fulfillment, partly down to amazing Richard Pryor performance. 4, Santa Claus the Movie, magical, festive, fun, still holds up today. Rocky 4, possibly my favorite Rocky movie, we said. Back to the Future, and then number 1, The Goonies. Greatest kids movie ever. Will be adored for generations.
Who's that? Andreas?
No, that's Greg.
No. Oh, that's Greg. There was not enough swear words for that to be Andreas.
Yeah.
Saying that, on the subject of St. Elmo's Fire, I've been in the bar.
Oh, okay.
Cool. The bar where that was filmed in is actually directly opposite the Exorcist house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Like, if you go to Virginia and you go, I forget which part of Virginia it is because my friend drove me there. I've been there twice actually because I went one with my friend Dennis, and then when my boy Steve Bird stayed around my grandma's, he was driving and he wanted to see the Exorcist house. So me and Steve went there and we went into St. Elmo's fireplace, and I was like, I ain't even seen the movie, so I can't get a fit. I took a selfie of me in the bar, but like I had no clue. And funnily enough, my friend Kevin, who lives in the States, he worked at that bar for like 8 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. Okay, so my top 10, I had Back to the Future, The Goonies, Rocky 4, Commando, Brewster's Millions, Cocoon, Jewel of the Nile. So this was Michael Douglas, sort of like
and Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner. Yeah. Teen Wolf, Weird Science, and Police Academy 2. And I'll go through some of the films that you guys have mentioned because this is where I realized I haven't seen so many movies. I've not seen The Breakfast Club.
What?
I've not seen Witness. I've not seen After Hours. I've not seen Prizzy's Honor. There's loads. Legend, which Sacha you mentioned, haven't seen that. There's so many movies from this year that I haven't seen it. If we look at the best movies for that year in terms of the Oscars, Best Picture, Out of Africa. I think I've seen many movies ago, but I couldn't tell you what it's about. The Color Purple, again, just watched it a couple of weeks ago. Kiss of the Spider Woman. That's not to be confused with Madam Web. It's a very different movie. But I've not seen
one
that.
Is better than the other. Let's just say that.
Witness with Harrison Ford and Prizzy's Honor, which again, this was Jack Nicholson, Kathleen Turner, Not seen that either.
I might give that a go because it's got Jack in it.
Right, exactly. And I was like, I didn't even know this. There's a lot of movies of that year which I haven't seen. So, but in terms of honorable mentions, I had Rambo and Police Story. Not that I've watched them, but because I knew Sacha was going to bring them up. Spies Like Us, again, A View to a Kill, again, decent James Bond film. Just shout out to Lady Hawk because of my love for Ready Player One and how that's mentioned in the book rather than the movie. And honorable mention goes out to He-Man and She-Ra, The Secret of the Sword. Because, god damn it, when I was a kid, I loved that freaking movie. Introduced Hordak. You got the whole backstory of She-Ra being the sister and all this kind of jazz. So yeah, at the time, that would have been probably my favorite movie of the year at that time, because I would have been like 4 years old. So that would have been what I was rocking at the time. But yeah, honorable mention to He-Man. Okay, so guys, we got 2 spots left. We need to fill these up. Out of what for me, Commando needs to go in there. I've got a lot of love for Commando, but that's the one I'm gonna fight for first, because for me,
can I point out
how many top 10s is it on?
So it's in my top 10. It's in Sacha's top 10. It's in your top 10, Neil.
It's on my top 10.
Oh, okay, all right.
But
any other films that we've all got on our top 10s?
I need to point out there's a film that it's on my honorable mentions, but no one mentioned it, and I'm surprised that Sacha didn't mention it.
Okay,
European Vacation.
No, Yes, Madam.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Michelle Yeoh, Cynthia Rothrock, martial arts film.
Never seen it.
I'll be damned.
I've never seen it. But I want to see it now. You just named 2 of the queens of martial arts.
The 2 of them, and they whoop off this film.
Yeah, Ken, someone send that my way, man. Seriously.
Yeah, Yes, Madam.
Yes, Madam. All right, I'll make a note of that, and I'll see if
now I know why you haven't said it. But yeah, no, Yes, Madam was the business.
Okay.
I will check out that business.
Okay, so all right, let's go around the table. Lee, out of your top 10, what movie do you want to get in there that's not on the list already? What are you most passionate about? Or give 2, maybe. Give 2 you want to add.
Yeah, give 2.
I would probably go, probably Commando and Santa Claus. I watch it every year. That's got to be in there.
That's another one. That's another one I've never watched.
I've not seen Santa Claus the movie either.
What?
Yeah.
And think of how many years I've done my Christmas movie run.
I'll be honest with you, it's not on my top 10. It's not in my honorable mentions. Not because I don't like the movie. It's just it's not my favorite Christmas movie. But I do like it, and I do watch it every year. You know what I mean? But it's just never been like, oh my god! But that's just me personally. It's like that movie that's always been around. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. But like, I do like it because like it's everything I stand for. Fuck the big corporations. Let's go independent. Santa and his workshop. They're independent motherfuckers, so you know you're not gonna get more independent than Santa Claus. You know what I mean? And like I like that. And Dudley Moore fucking steals that shit. You know what? It's underrated. Maybe it should go in there.
I've known Dudley Moore in that role. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I've seen it when I was younger, but I can't say that I could rate it or review it because I don't remember
seen him in. Like I don't know him from anything else. So.
Oh, Dudley Moore. What was the film that I mentioned previously of him in, which I love? Arthur. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, never seen Arthur.
Yeah, cracking film. Okay, so Neil, what are the 2 films that you'd nominate to put forward for the final 2 spots?
The Breakfast Club and The Color Purple.
I understand those choices. Yeah.
Disappointed with all of you guys.
All right, Sacha, what's the 2 that you're putting forward?
See, like I love The Breakfast Club, and I would normally champion for it, but I would understand why it would, because that is high on my list. That's after Brewster's. Okay, so, but the fact no one's mentioning fucking John Rambo on his epic return to save the POWs. Man, these last two should really be Arnold versus Sly. Okay, and I'm sorry, I know Rocky 4 is in there, but fuck that shit, man. This was the year of Stallone, and they were two bangers. And I'm sorry, like, say what you want, okay, about First Blood Part 2. This is okay. Whenever people mention Rambo, this is the stereotypical version of the character that everybody gets put off by. Okay, but that's only because let's be fair. Free wasn't good, but I have a soft spot for it in my heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. But this was genuinely good. Okay, I would argue tooth and nail that this movie is actually better than Commando. All right, I'm being honest there. You know what I mean? Commando works because Schwarzenegger makes it work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. Come on.
But First Blood Part 2, James Cameron, a script by James Cameron and Sylvester Stallone.
Was Rambo a Green Beret?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, Commando eats Green Berets for breakfast, so.
That's fighting words.
That's a TikTok clip.
But yeah, but no,
I think fighting words.
Okay, the argument could be made that it's not First Blood Part 1 because that is a superior movie for sure, because you know that's the one everyone doesn't expect it to be. You know what I mean? But this, you know what? I can watch part 2 all day long. It's like you know
I only just watched Part 1 last year, so I need to go to Part 2.
Oh my gosh. Part 2, dude. All right, dude. It's one.
Isn't Part 2 like what Hot Shots referenced more than
No. That's free.
Oh, that's 3 because it gets even more crazy, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Yeah, free. It's like the Beverly Hills Cop situation, right?
Yeah.
You got 1, you got 2. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. But 3 was the decline in quality control. But when you watch 3, it's not that bad. It's better than films made today. For sure.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is that they lean too much into the explosion element of it, and there's less of the drama element of it. Whereas this one, there's more explosions, a lot less characterization, but at least the character's still there. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So, wait, have you not seen any of these films?
What, as in Rambo? Like I said, I believe I've seen, like, when I watched First Blood, I realized that I've seen quite a bit of it. But I think because I haven't watched them repeatedly, once or twice, they kind of merged a little bit. So I wasn't sure what happens in each one. But I loved First Blood. Fantastic. Absolutely agree with you on that. So now I need to go back and watch the second and third to really filter out which of those movies they were. But First Blood, fantastic. Second one, I've probably seen parts of it. But yeah, I need to rewatch it.
That's another creative control. Should Stallone do a Last Blood Part 2?
No.
I got stuff to say about Last Blood.
All right. Well, we'll do one on that too. So Sacha's coming up with all the ideas today. Right. So Sacha, what's your second pick then?
You know what? It's going to be Rambo First Blood Part 2 twice.
That doesn't help the voting, bro.
That doesn't give it a better chance.
Yeah. So look, we've got Police Story, Bruce's Millions.
Sylvester Stallone, I tried, my guy. I tried.
So we got Police Story, Bruce's Millions,
honestly, it's the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. Okay, fine.
Breakfast Club. It's got to be the Breakfast Club.
Okay,
that's it. The decision made, isn't it?
I think that's pretty much it. So basically, what we're going to do is, based on our top 10s of the ones we're putting forward, we got 2 votes for Commando, and we've got 2 votes for the Breakfast Club. So those are going in. I think that makes it quite straightforward. Right. So
I'd have been a broken man if John Hughes didn't make it in there.
Yeah. Okay. So, but again, I've tried to read. So I think what was the one I watched the other day? Was it 16 Candles?
16 Candles.
Yeah. Is that the one where she what's his name? It's with Ducky, the guy from Two and a Half Men and stuff like that. Yeah. So again, I hadn't seen that before, so I went and watched that. So I'm trying to go back and watch some of these movies. So The Breakfast Club, obviously I know it and I know the scenes in it, but I've never actually sat and watched it all. So, okay. So our top 10 list, our final list, in no particular order because of how we've nominated it, but we've got Back to the Future, Fright Night, Jackie Chan's Police Story, Rocky 4, Teen Wolf, The Goonies, Brewster's Millions, Cocoon, Commando, and The Breakfast Club.
Yes, indeed.
A well-rounded list. We've got everything on there. We've got horror, we've got family drama, we've got comedy. Everything on a little bit of sci-fi. So strong list. Are there any films that you guys are like me? I haven't seen loads of these films. Are there any films in particular that you guys have heard today? You're like, you know what, I want to go back and watch now. Sacha, you mentioned obviously Yes, Madam, because of what Neil said. So that one. Any other films that you guys like? I need to go see that.
The Jack Nicholson one you said.
Yeah.
I think
Prizzy's Honor.
Yeah, I need to rewatch Police Story because in my head I'm like, I've seen it, but I can remember. I have scenes in my head that involve Jackie Chan that I'm like, I've seen that film, but I'm like, have I seen that film?
Yeah, like I see, like I've seen the bus scene. Does he fight in a playground in this one?
That's Police Story 2.
Right. See, like I've seen, I've seen parts of that. So, like Neil, I've seen things.
Yeah, that's because I keep posting the park fight every year.
You posted it on Facebook or something, and I just watched that.
I post it every year. You know why? That is the park fight in Police Story 2 is one of the greatest martial arts fights I've seen in my life. I'm not shitting. If I had to name top 10 martial arts fights, okay, this is in the top 5 for me. All right, and it has been surpassed. It has. There are better fights out there, but you got to understand when you haven't seen fighting like this before, and this is like your third or fourth Jackie Chan picture that you're watching. This was better than everything you'd seen before. You know what I mean? Like this was top tier Jackie fighting kind of thing. It was like, what? So
that's a good episode, top 10 on-screen fights or something like that. So
if you did a Jackie Chan movie specific thing, I can't be the guy, but I can get you. No. I'm the guy on this podcast, but I am no way the Jackie Chan guy.
Yeah,
but I can get you the guys.
You can get me the guys.
About that off.
Yes.
Talk about that.
We'll go speak to the guys.
I'll speak to the guys. I'll get them on this.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was just going to do is I was going to go through the worldwide box office numbers for the 1985 as well. So this is worldwide. So it's not domestic US or anything like that. Worldwide. And this is the calendar year 1985. So we had Out of Africa at number 1, then Back to the Future, Rambo: First Blood Part 2, Rocky 4. The Color Purple, Cocoon, Jewel of the Nile, Witness, The Goonies, and Spies Like Us.
Wow,
so those are the top 10. Top 10.
I haven't seen Spies Like Us.
It's a good film, really good film.
I've watched it once, but it
was one that used to come on TV all the time.
Right. Yeah, but I know it's down upgrade. In terms of the domestic box office for the US, Back to the Future was a number 1. 2 was Beverly Hills Cop because of when it was released.
Released
in December '84. Then you had Rambo: First Blood and Rocky 4. So stellar year for Sylvester Stallone. Cocoon at 5, Witness at 6, The Goonies at 7, Police Academy 2 at number 8, 9, Fletch, which is a comedy with Chevy Chase.
So I'm a big Fletch fan.
Right.
I've read the books. I championed the remake starring John Hamm that came out a few years ago. It was in my now there's a big thing about Fletch because a lot of people that watch Fletch, they were in love with the Chevy Chase films, Fletch and Fletch.
That's right. Yeah, Fletch. That's number 9.
Yeah, they're 2 films. Fletch is based on the book, but it's not a very good adaptation of the book. Chevy Chase is just Chevy Chase. He's not really Fletch. And the second movie was made up. It wasn't even based on the books. It was just made up so that he could do his own thing. Now there are a lot of fans of those 2 films, and Chevy Chase. They are good films. They are good films for what they are. But when you read the books, they're not the character. And my introduction to Fletch was actually through Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith in the late 90s, early 2000s, originally wanted to get the option on Fletch and do a series, like adapt the novels and cast Jason Lee as Fletch. But Jason Lee wasn't an A-lister. And I'm like, you idiot. You missed them. Like, don't get me wrong. Jason Lee would have been great as Fletch. But you know who would have been better? Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck could have played that in his sleep, especially Ben Affleck. Okay. But what was it? The remake with not really a remake. It's based on a novel. The new Fletch with John Hamm. I did really like that. But I got no attention.
Okay, cool. And number 10, which wrapped that up, was A View to a Kill, and the US domestic box office. So there we go. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That was a really entertaining episode. Thank you. Really enjoyed talking about those films. There's a huge watch list for me to take away. So I've got some homework to do. And thank you guys for watching and listening. We really appreciate you. Sound off in the comments. What were your favorite films of 1985? Did we get the right list? Did we get the right mix? What movies are you championing on this top 10 of 1985? But yeah, like always, thank you very much. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We really appreciate the support, and don't forget to share our content as well. Really appreciate that. And that's about it from the Creative Control team. So until next time, peace out.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I want to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
That's what she said.
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. What is that?
Say my name. I am the father.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
It was number 5. Number 5 killed my brother.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part.